subframe has been painted and it's drying now. It should be dry, so what I'm going to do is put on the motor mounts and probably the control arms, and then I just painted the little heat shield that goes on one, so I'll wait for that to dry, and then I should be able to put it back in the car, which is exciting. And then once I do that, I should be able to take the brace off. As you know, if you don't know, now you know, I got fresh subframe bolts because these ones are one-time use. That's what the manual says, so I'm going to go by it. And then I got my brand new control arms with my new offset Revshift bushings. And while I'm under there, I got new tie rods just because I damaged my old one when I was removing the control arms. I got new sway bar bushings, and I'm painting the sway bar as well. Moving on to more bushings, I have fresh Revshift 80A motor and transmission bushings, as well as this excessive manufacturing E36 transmission brace. So we'll be putting this in, getting rid of the stock aluminum one. I also got new wheel spacers, hot diggity dogs. So I think these are 15 mil. The ones I had on were 12. So hopefully this gives me space so I'm not rubbing through my frame rail. The other side is much worse. Alright, so we got Revshift gives you nice instructions. So basically these are studs. So we want to remove these studs, add some Loctite, and then thread them in with the whole weight of the car on it somehow. And then we'll tighten these nuts to 35 foot-pounds as well. And they give you some Loctite. Alright, so after a little bit of messing around and some thinking, some big brain thinking, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to install the motor mounts, Loctite all the studs in, and then place them in there, loosely put the nuts on, Loctite them, bolt it all together, make sure the engine is on these, tighten that down, get the subframe in, and then I'll worry about the control arms and everything else. I think just making sure the mounts are on the engine, that the subframe's bolted in and all torqued good, then I'll worry about the rest of the suspension stuff. And then these go into here, just like this. Get that ASMR. Helicopter, helicopter. Helicopter, helicopter. Got the motor mounts in, I got the subframe in. I just need to torque everything now. So it's 35 foot-pounds for these motor mounts, both nuts, top and bottom, and then I believe 62 for these. Yeah. So I forgot the heat shielding, which I spent so much effort painting. It goes on top of the bushing, in between the mount and the bushing, but I already have everything in here, and I'm not going to take it all down again. Okay, I lied. Subframe are 81 foot-pounds. 62 is that ball joint. And then 43 is this smaller ball joint. And then these are 35. Oh wow, it's ripping my paint. Up, man. Got everything torqued down, so now I'm gonna work on putting the control arms through this, and then I'm just gonna put them up here for now. That will be the last part, and then I'll have to bolt them onto here actually. So I ended up putting in the heat shield on the passenger motor mount by the exhaust. What I did, I just loosened both engine mounts, took this nut almost all the way off. I actually cut a slit in the heat shield so that I could slip it on rather than having to take the motor mount completely off of the stud and then put it on the stud. I just cut it out, so I slid it in the stud, and I just jacked up mostly the passenger side of the engine with a 2x4. Time lapse going great. I had this all tightened down, and then I realized, can you see that? And then I realized I can't get my wrench. Oh, I think I damaged the threads. Hell yeah. So I'm trying to loosen it to get this knuckle to release the ball joint and let it drop down again, but now it's sucked in there so good it doesn't want to come out. So great. Yes, I got it, guys. When in doubt, sledge it out. I started tapping. Yeah, you can see I tapped the control arm, but what really got loose is you smacked the knuckle, and that gave it enough good vibrations to get loose. So now I'm gonna tighten this as tight as possible using only this side. Solid little work sesh. Technically, I don't need this anymore. That's very exciting. The engine is now on its mounts on the subframe. Got our new motor mounts, got the heat shield in, the beautiful Revshift motor mounts, painted and fabricated subframe on the new control arms, and then I'm just waiting to go buy a socket for this so that, oh, did I put Loctite on this? Idiot. So I'm gonna buy a 21 mil socket. That way I can properly torque these guys down, because with these ones I just used a wrench and gave it my body unga-dungas, so it's probably fine. But for these I want to make sure they're accurate. Oh, I don't even think I get a torque wrench up here. I don't know, maybe the small one, so we'll see. I'm gonna put that stuff back in, so power steering, pump, and rack, and then the new tie rods, maybe. And I think that's it, honestly. Yeah, nice. And then the sway bar. All right, I smell some weird smells. Okay, I'm gonna check the oil and then probably jack it up, do power steering. So turn it on, back and forth a bunch of times. It really stinks. And then you do that on the ground, and then should be good to go. Don't know what that smell is. It doesn't smell good. So I was right about the oil. It went down. It's low now, so I'm gonna add half a quart and check the level again. But all right, so we got the car jacked up just a little bit. I'm gonna turn it on, go back and forth a bunch of times with the wheel. The camera's gonna cut off as soon as I turn the car on because it connects to Bluetooth. I went back and forth a couple times with the steering wheel. I need to back up to do the rest. But I'm just checking for oil leaks right now. So far, so good. So I'm gonna let it warm up a bit, and you're supposed to hold it at like 2,000 RPMs for a little, and then I should be able to drive it. Very excited! I noticed around 1,000 RPMs, the whole car shakes a lot, so that could just be the new stiff motor mounts doing their job. They're not even that stiff, but I mean, if that's the case, then that's fine, as long as nothing's coming loose. We're about to take her for her maiden voyage, but let me go over what we did. Reinforced the subframe, painted it, new subframe bolts, new motor mount and transmission mounts, new control arms, new tie rods, new sway bar bushings, did the oil pump nut and the reinforced oil pickup tube, and wheel spacers. But quite a lot, but we did it. So far, so good. We'll go on the maiden voyage, and that's where we'll really test it out. And then soon, I'm gonna take it to the track, and we're going drifting. Because now it's ready. With that oil pump nut, that was my main concern. So Cooling system probably next. Maiden voyage. Transmission shifts pretty good. Kind of goes in there. I noticed there's a little vibration around like 1 to 2,000 RPM, and I'm hearing some weird noises in the suspension. Let's do a little pull a little bit. Thanks. I sure hope I tightened everything. I just spun. Oh, that was hilarious. The maiden voyage was a success. There's some noises and stuff. I'm sure it'll fix itself. But there's a hissing noise when I turn it off, and the RPMs hang a lot more. Don't know what that even means. What that could have been. I didn't really touch. I touched the oil system, but that's about it. Hopefully it'll fix itself. I did a little skid. I tried to do a clutch kick turn, looped it. It had a lot more whip around. I don't know. It could be the adjusted bushings, the lower control arm bushings, the offset one. So I think it gave me a little more turn in. The front suspension feels so good, like a lot better. And now when I take off, I don't feel the engine, go like this, and the transmission, I can actually get it into gear real nice. This was not an easy job at all, but definitely worth it for this car. As soon as I finished my first drive, I noticed I had a vacuum leak, or I noticed a line that wasn't connected. It's way down in there. You can kind of see the white stripe on the hose way down there. So it's a vacuum line that goes to the muffler, or it's a canister that goes to the muffler and the evap system. It's an emissions thing. It's a 98 car, so I don't know how many years had this, but this is one of them. So I noticed that was disconnected, and so I went to plug it in, and I pulled my back. So I've been out for a couple days. It's all fixed now. The car feels good. It pulls good. The engine and transmission bushings really help. It just shifts so much better, and now there's no jolting when I'm taking off. And you feel a little bit more vibration, but not too bad so far. Makes it feel a little more like a race car. And it sounds better somehow. I'll bolt check it in 50, 100 miles or so, just to make sure everything's hunky-dory. But I did mark everything so I can see it that much easier. I just can't wait to wash this thing because it's filthy, super filthy, and then we're gonna drive it. I need to go drifting, so stay tuned. We're going drifting very soon. Subscribe for more content, like, comment. We'll answer all your comments and questions. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.